listening to Reignite, a podcast that asks that age-old question, werewolves or elves? Anyway, I'm Frankie.
And I am Matt, a.k.a. Stormageddon.
We have one treaty left, so it's off to the Brecilian forest to speak with the Dalish elves. When we arrive, of course it's not as simple as, here's a treaty, let's go to war. We have to solve yet another problem. The Dalish are being attacked by werewolves of the forest. Zathrian, the keeper of this particular group of Dalish, tells the warden that he needs the heart of a great wolf named Witherfang to end the curse. The warden and crew head into the forest where bears, werewolves, and corrupted Sylvan await.
Yeah, I completely forgot this quest existed before we did it. I just didn't remember there were werewolves in this game. And then I started the quest and went, oh yeah, this.
Oh yeah, that's what this is about.
It just feels so out of left field. It just doesn't.
I thought we'd just walk into camp and they were like, oh yeah, you have a treaty for us. Let's go.
Yeah. I mean, I knew that there would be some kind of conflict. I just didn't think it would be with werewolves living in the forest. It just seemed like there have been no other mythical creatures of this respect, like vampires or anything. So like
that we know of. So like werewolf just seemed so out of place, but here we are. Here we are. I have many opinions about the werewolves. Before we get into them, do you have any check-ins that you want to go over?
I checked in with Severin to ask him about why he wants to leave the Antivan Crows and like why he's working with us. And it did give me an opportunity to flirt with him, which I'll take. Nice. And then I talked with Liliana about missing Orlais and like also not missing Orlais at the same time. And how she kind of loves it, but also hates it, which is like kind of in line with having a hometown, right? Like you take the good and the bad, which was a sweet conversation.
And there you have the facts of life.
Right, exactly.
This is how I feel about America. Every time people are like, oh, what are you doing in Corrine? Don't you miss New York? And I'm like, yes, but also.
Yeah, but kind of no, also.
Yes, but also, have you heard anything coming out of my country lately? That's not.
Yeah, and then I checked in with Ogdrin, who's just, it's the first conversation with him about, like, feeling like he's going to fall into the sky, but how he doesn't mind it. It actually feels like being drunk all the time, but for much cheaper, which, I mean, most conversations with Ogdrin are about being drunk or what it's like to be drunk or how he wish he was drunk. That's kind of his whole character arc.
At some point, he just is impossible to talk to, like literally impossible to talk to because he's drunk, and he just like says something NPC-ish and burps, and you're like, okay. I hate Ogren. He has not given me a reason to be like, you should leave yet. He has asked for my help to meet up with this girl that he knew named Felsi who left for the surface. So I get to do that, I guess. He didn't ask me in a way that was, like, offensive. Like, I was able to play it without it getting into Ogren's behavior that I hate, you know?
Right.
So I was able to keep some distance. So that it was like, you're asking me for help. Okay, fine, I will help you.
And then the only other conversation I had was with Wynn to be... like what it's like to be a Grey Warden and like my responsibilities and like
she talked to me about that too.
Yeah. Which is like, okay, thanks, Mom.
Has she talked to you about her greatest regret?
Not quite yet, no.
Okay, so you're not gonna have this quest.
Yeah, I haven't gotten everyone's bonus quest yet. I still can't get shit out of what's his name? The Canary. Sten.
Do you have the feast day pack?
I should have all DLC.
So go speak to Bodrin and go look at gifts. And there should be a bunch of gifts that you can get for like literally nothing.
Oh, yeah. All the ones that cost zero copper. Okay.
You get plus 50 approval if you give them.
Oh, okay. I'll do that then. I saw that they all cost nothing and they had these weird names and I was like, or they were these weird items.
There's two kinds. There's ones that give plus 50 approval and then there's ones that give minus 50 approval.
Right. And so I couldn't tell what was what. And so I just didn't buy any of them.
So, for example, for Alistair, there is a Grey Warden puppet.
Right.
So you can give that to Alistair. It's like, oh, look at this cute little toy of Grey Wardens. Or you can give him the complete genealogy of Ferelden's kings, which he would hate.
Right. Yeah.
So you kind of have to just like know your characters and be like, oh yeah, you would hate that.
Okay. Great. That'll go well for me, I'm sure.
And also it will tell you like who this is specifically for. So you don't have to guess, is this for Leliana or is this for Zevran?
Got it.
So you can just buy everything and then see which two are available and then make an educated guess.
Great. Educated guess. What could possibly go wrong?
Well, clearly Leliana's not going to want the ugly ass shoes.
Obviously. That's the other conversation I had when talking about Orlais was we talked about shoes and I leaned into my inner queer and like talked about how much I love shoes and she just goes on and on. It's really funny.
Or like with Zevran, he's not going to want a chastity belt.
I was wondering who that was for.
Yeah, Zevran. Yeah. If you want to make Zevran hate you.
Yeah. I don't. I'd like to not have to kill him this playthrough.
Yeah. So do that and that'll unlock like all the conversations that you're missing.
Okay. Cool. I'll do that.
So I did that up front. So you don't have Wynn's regret, we'll skip it.
Okay.
Yeah, the only thing I have to say is Ogren called me ugly and I wanted to be like, have you seen a mirror? Have you ever seen a mirror?
Have you looked at yourself? I'm curious when you left for the Dalish camp, did something happen with Wynn in after combat? Okay, yeah, that happened to me as well.
Yeah. She did a big move with her spirit companion and, was like, oh, I feel drained.
Yeah, it kind of like collapses and you help her up.
Yeah.
Please don't die healing, Mom. You're the only healer I've got.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so once that happens, then we are at the Dalish camp, and I don't know about the reception that you got, but the reception I got was pretty chilly, which understandable. Like, it's just, if you are a person of privilege walking into a meeting of a marginalized group, you would get some looks.
Yeah, and probably deservedly so, to be honest.
Right? So, like, a human walking into a camp of Dalish, you're not going to be greeted all that warmly.
I mean, I will say that as a dwarf character, I also was not treated that warmly, so I think it's just all outsiders, because I am from a somewhat marginalized group as well, and they just also weren't super kind to me.
Yeah.
Although I love the video game of it all, that I'm in this area. I get a quest to do a thing. We're going to talk about that in a minute. And then I can wander around talking to people, and their first sentence is, well, I don't know if I should talk to an outsider about this.
Oh my god! I have a note about that.
But then here's all my backstory. Anyway.
Like, I don't know if I should tell a stranger. I'm like, you clearly want to.
Yeah.
You clearly want to tell me.
Yeah. So, Lanaya, when we meet Lanaya, and then, of course, the leader of the town, I'm sure you recognize the voice of Lanaya.
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
I was like, Ashley Williams? Ashley Williams, is that you?
Yeah, Kimberly Brooks as Lanaya. But yeah,
I'd love to have Kimberly Brooks on our show one day.
I mean, I would too.
Well, before we talk about Lanaya and the scoop that she gives us, let's talk about Zathrian a little bit. He is the keeper of this particular group of Dalish. There are like different clans of Dalish. If you play the Dalish origin, you're not from this group of Dalish.
Right, you're from a different group of Dalish.
Yeah, which I find a little weird. Like, why wouldn't you just go back to your group of Dalish? But whatever. Whatever you want to do to make your story make sense, which it doesn't, but okay. Zathrian tells us that they can't live up to the treaty, and Alistair's just like, what are the odds?
Yeah.
I'm so surprised. I'm shocked.
Yeah, that never
shocked,
happens.
I say.
Oh, I should ask who you had with you. I had Wynn, Alistair, and Liliana with me.
Wynn, Alistair, and Zevran.
Did having an elf along help with any of
No,
this?
because he's not Dalish.
Yeah, that's what I figured. I didn't think so either, but there were some moments where stuff was just in Elvish, and I went, I wonder if having Zevran would have helped. Anyway.
No.
But yeah, Zathrian lets us know that his people are sick. They are in a constant battle with werewolves in the forest, and until the curse is broken, they cannot help us. And of course, it is our opportunity to then go, well, I'll help you.
Yeah. Like, is there anything that I can do? How can I support you in this trying time?
Yeah.
Would you
And
like an egg?
so, as you said in the intro, we are informed that if we bring back the heart of a great wolf named Witherfang, Zathrian will be able to create a cure for his people.
Yes. Which seems pretty straightforward. Kill a wolf, take its heart, and you're done, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
What could possibly go wrong?
We got this. Got this. My favorite interaction was Zathrian saying, like, the only thing that can help them must come from the source of the curse. That would be no trivial task. And you get the opportunity to say what I would actually say, which is, I'm good at non-trivial tasks.
That's exactly what I said too. That's like, because that's pretty much all we've done this whole
Yeah.
game.
I'm like, me, on my resume.
My bread and butter.
Like, it says on my resume, excels at non-trivial tasks. So, just give it to me. More than werewolves lurk in the Brecilian forest. Yes, that is true. So yeah, Zathrian tells us, like, all he's willing to tell us, and then he's like, peace.
Yeah, you can talk to my assistant. Otherwise,
I have other shit to do. So we talked to Lanaya. And during your conversations with either Zathrian or Lanaya, do you ever learn that Zathrian has unlocked immortality?
No.
Right? Like, it never comes up.
No, which will be important later. But yeah, no, it's never mentioned. None of Zathrian's background is mentioned, but some of it I understand why. But like, yeah, it's the narrative through line for this mission is a little muddled.
Yeah. So we do find out what started the curse. We do not find out anything about timelines. So I would have liked to know timelines before I got into this mission. Because...
What? A BioWare game with unclear timelines?
What a concept! But Lanaya tells us that the curse started because Zathrian's clan was attacked by humans and they had killed his son and raped and assaulted his daughter. Also, can we stop having stories about rape? Like, yeah. Can we?
I believe we've had this conversation this season.
We have, but this is...
Yeah.
Like, why are we having this conversation again? Like, why is there another story where it's like, oh, she was raped, and therefore that is why this curse exists, because rage. And I think she committed suicide.
Yes.
Because she was pregnant. And
right.
Like, it makes me so angry and so upset. And I'm just so tired of these stories. And yes, you can say that at the time that this game was released, this was a very popular trope in high fantasy. I can still be disappointed.
Yeah, and I think that it's lazy writing. It was lazy writing then. It's still lazy writing now. There are other ways for a family to be hurt or harmed in the past to, like, I mean, it's all fridging at the end of the day anyway. And so, like, or a form of, right, like killing and hurting these people to motivate this man. But that said, there are other ways to do it that are at least more tactful, less lazy, more interesting, all of that.
But we never get this reveal that this happened generations ago.
Right.
Like, from the way she's talking, like, this could have happened 20 years ago.
Right.
For all we know. But no. She also, like, quotes poetry to us, and I'm just like, keep going.
Yeah, right? Of course.
Like dragons they fly, glory upon wings. Like dragons they savage, fearsome pretty things. Ooh. And she says, I'm hardly anyone special. And I'm like, not true, babe.
Special in my eyes.
You're special to me, baby. Can I, like, just adopt you into my crew?
Yeah.
Yeah, so Lanaya is cool. I like her a lot. Kamen.
So I circumvented this quest for the first time in a long time.
You did?
Yeah. So Kamen is a hunter or a junior hunter, whatever it's called.
Hunter apprentice.
Yeah. Hunter inexperienced. And the reason he has not been promoted to a full hunter for the tribe is because he has not gotten a wolf pelt, because he's scared, and because he doesn't want to die, and because he's so focused on his true love, who is within the camp as well. And what I didn't realize you could do, typically how this quest goes is you agree to go get the wolf pelt for him if you want to help him, and then you get a wolf pelt and you bring it back. Instead,
That is not how I never do this quest.
Me neither. That's like the straightforward way. But then what I did is I just went to talk to his girl.
Yeah, I just went to talk to Genya. I was like, can you please stop playing with my boy?
Same. And then she's like, okay. And then they live happily ever after.
Like,
I'm glad it wasn't just me.
Like, do you love him? Do you actually? Yes? Just fucking get over yourself then.
Yeah, he probably can't do it and is nervous because he's so worried about you. If you support him, he'll be better.
Exactly. And I just find that really funny that you're like, the typical way you do this. I'm like, is it?
Well, that's the way I've done it before. Yeah, I know.
I have never done that. I will not do your work for you. I will go talk to your girl and just be like, hey,
knock it off.
Can you just
Amazing.
Did you do the Hallow quest?
Is that the grieving, like the husband who's worried about his wife?
No, that's Athros.
Oh, that's Athros. Then I don't think I did the Hallow quest.
So there is this young woman who takes care of the herd of Hala. Hala are the animals that they ride, who pull their land wagons, stuff like that. And there's one that she's separated out from the herd because she thinks that it maybe got sick, might have gotten bitten by a werewolf or darkspawn. I don't remember the exact context, but like she's worried that this Hala could taint the rest of the horde. And she's like, the Hala is too stressed to let me communicate, so I don't know what to do. So I talked to the Hala, and I calmed it down. And because I was able to calm it, don't shake your head at me. Don't shake your head at me.
The listeners wouldn't have known had you not said anything.
But I know.
Yeah, of course.
Don't shake your head at me. So because I put some points in survival, I was able to calm the Hala down, and she was able to find out that it's not this Hala that's sick, it's actually her life mate that's sick. So she now knows like what to do. It's just a little quest where you're nice to animals.
I missed that one.
But this quest can go so wrong because you could lie and just be like, this animal is definitely sick. We better kill it.
No.
Or you could just be like, I got fucking nothing.
Right. Which would probably be me if I tried anyway.
Yeah. So I was able to calm the Hala down. And it was fine. Let's see. There's a quest to get some iron bark for the master carpenter, whose name escapes me. I want to say it begins with a V.
Yeah,
I don't remember.
He supplies the town with like goods and services, and like is able to build weapons. And he asks if you can get him some iron bark, he'll be able to build supplies for the tribe.
He's a nice guy.
Yeah,
he'll make you a thing.
Yeah, turns out the thing he makes me isn't as good as the thing that I find during the mission anyway. So
amazing.
Yeah.
I asked for a breastplate so I could give it to someone else.
To the person with your favorite breast.
Exactly. I want to protect those breasts.
Then
I protect my assets and my breastits.
Yeah, exactly. And then the last mission you can get is with Athros, whose partner's missing. Zathrian says that
told him that she died of the curse.
And he's convinced that she's still alive and asks if you can look for her.
Did you accept, or did you like try and force Zathrian into telling the truth?
I accepted.
Okay. I did too. Because I didn't realize you could force Zathrian into telling the truth.
Yep. Me neither.
But you could. Maybe next time I will. Because fuck you, Zathrian. Anyway. But yeah, Athros was the one where I wrote the note where he's like, I shouldn't tell a stranger. I was like, you obviously want to tell me.
Yeah.
Like, you're waiting where I need to go to leave. Like, you want to tell me.
I mean, but Kamen also has the same. He's like, I don't know if I should talk about this with an outsider. It's like, yeah, but you're going to tell me.
Just tell me. Just tell me what you want. Tell me what you really want.
Give me my quest. So the exclamation point goes away.
Yes. Okay, cool. Into the Brecilian forest.
Yep. The minute we enter, we are attacked by wolves and werewolves, and we start to fight our way through a little bit until we are confronted by a prominent werewolf named Swiftrunner.
Can I be honest? I'm at a point in this game where the fighting's just boring.
Yeah, I mean, the fighting has not been hard for me because I have it set on an easier difficulty, and because I'm a ranger, all of my damage comes from the auto fire and my pets. Um, my abilities just do status damage. Like I break their armor, I make them do less damage, I give suppressing fire. Like my attacks themselves don't actually do a ton of damage, just the auto fire does. I did get to Master Ranger though, so now I have like the empowered version of all my animal companions: the Great Bear, the Blight Wolf, and the Great Spider. But yeah, I agree. I think the combat is pretty straightforward at this point. Because also when it's not, like if you play at higher difficulties, it's unfairly challenging in a way that the
Yeah.
game is not designed well for. In the same way that Mass Effect 1, like you play on easy because it's just, the shooting isn't great. Although in the remasters, it's better. I think this game really sorely needs a remaster. But yeah, so, we're fighting our way through the forest, and we're confronted by Swift Runner, who is like assistant to the head of the werewolves.
He says something about like, the Watch Wolves were telling the truth. And I wrote down, who watches the Watch Wolves?
Oh, God.
Tell me that, Swift Runner. And like, it's so frustrating because I'm trying to talk to Swift Runner, and Swift Runner's like, "You're here to destroy us," and I'm like, "Or we could talk about it."
Yeah,
and he's like, "No, fuck you."
And then he runs away, and then you're attacked by more wolves. It's like,
he's like, "You don't want to talk." I'm like, "But I actually do."
Yeah, like we could make this whole ordeal a lot shorter if maybe we could chat.
Like, if you had just said to me, like, Zathrigan's a liar, I would have been like, "Oh, Dip? So shocking. I'm so surprised. What is he lying about? Will you tell me?" No. Figure it out.
I also love the Brecilian forest, how this first area, there are 2 exits to the second area, and so depending on the direction you take in this very early part, the order of things are completely different, because like the order of things that you did here listed in the outline are the opposite for me, because I went the other way.
Okay.
So like I encountered the Hermit first, and then Anirin, and then the Grand Oak, and then the Dying Scout, because I zigged instead of zagged. And it's all the same, but it's just it's always interesting to me that
I'm very much a like, this is the area that I'm in, so I explore all of this area before I go to the next one. So like Swift Runner, the Dying Scout, and the Grand Oak are all in the same like section of map.
Yeah.
What'd you do with the Dying Scout?
I brought him back to the town.
Okay, I did that too. It annoyed me because it brought me back to the beginning.
Yeah, same.
It's like, how dare you?
And I was like right over by the Grand Oak, and so I was like, oh,
yeah, me
all
too.
the way back.
I was like, oh, you son of a bitch. You son of a bitch. I could have sworn that when you talked to the Grand Oak, you were supposed to talk in rhyme.
Right, like respond in rhyme to his
That's
rhymes.
what I thought.
Yeah, it's not the case. He just rhymes, and you just...
Why did I think that?
I don't know. Because you're poetic? I don't know.
It just would have made so much more sense. Maybe I was conflating, like, the Hermit having his rules with the Grand Oak.
Maybe, yeah.
Because they're tied together. I don't know. But
yeah, after meeting...
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, after meeting the Hermit and then meeting the Grand Oak, I immediately remembered, oh yeah, humans suck. I'm going to help the Grand Oak. Within seconds. I was just like, okay.
What does the Hermit say if you meet him before the Grand Oak?
He just tells you that he's being harassed by the forest itself, and if you help him, if you kill the Grand Oak, he will tell you what you want to know about Wildfang.
Oh, yeah.
Witherfang, rather, and all that. Like, he'll help you, essentially, if you do what he wants.
Yeah, it's been a while since I played that path.
It's not that...
I always help the Grand Oak, because the Grand Oak is like, this guy stole my acorn, baby.
Yeah. Also, he talks in rhyme and kind of sounds like Optimus Prime, so I'm into it.
How dare you?
He's got this deep, bellowy voice. I mean, it's definitely not Peter Cullen, but like... Anyway, yeah, so I help the Grand Oak, I kill the Hermit, I get the acorn.
You killed the Hermit?
That's the only way I was able to get it back?
I traded him for a book that I had.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he wouldn't trade with me. He wouldn't like he wouldn't give me the acorn, so I tried to get it myself, and then he attacked me, and we fought, and I killed him.
Wow.
He was summoning demons anyway. He was not a good person.
Matt out here just killing old men.
Yeah, I mean,
old men with mental illnesses.
He knew what he was doing. I don't buy that.
Well, we both played that a little differently.
Yeah, we did.
So did you encounter an Aaron?
I don't. So remind me who Anarin is.
Anarin is Wynn's student.
No, I didn't.
So you're going to have to go back to the Brecilian forest at some point.
Yeah, that's all right. It's all good.
So I traded a book for the acorn. I gave the acorn back, so now I can travel through the mist. We have another confrontation with Swift Runner, but Witherfang saves him at the last minute, and then they start shouting, "Protect the lady!"
Uh-huh.
I'm just like, interesting. Whomst is that?
Yep. And then we get to go through the ruins before their hideout.
I hate the ruins.
There's just so much fighting. Also, this has
so
the worst
big.
puzzle. It has the worst puzzle ever. I hate the puzzles in this game. They're all bad. They're all bad puzzles.
The puzzle here is actually not that bad if you read what you are given.
Yeah.
Because if you go to your quest log and you look at the quest, it tells you exactly what to do.
Yeah. Also, the thing is I remembered what to do, but because I didn't grab the tablet first, I still got attacked and failed the puzzle. And
Good job.
And then had to go hunting for the tablet until I found it, and then I was able to do it. It's just very dumb. You have to. There's this pool with an earthen jug in it. You have to take it out, take the water out, put it on this pedestal, take a sip, pray. It's just a pain in the ass. It's not.
It's like a whole lot of steps.
It's barely a puzzle, and it's very annoying.
Yeah, like I didn't find it that annoying because, you
read.
I read. I did what I was supposed to do. I followed instructions.
Right.
But yeah, I completed the ritual with no problem and it didn't bother me. But I got really bored because it's just the same 8 skeletons attacking me every 5 minutes. I'm just like, okay, I get it. You're spooky. Yeah.
And then there's like a ghost lady at one point a ghost boy first. And
there's a ghost boy and then there's a ghost lady and they speak in Elvish and we're like, we're trying to help you, but I don't understand. And they're just like, I don't care. Fuck you.
And then I ended up having to fight the ghost lady.
Yeah, I don't think there's a way to not fight her.
I didn't think so either. And so then you defeat her and get more loot. And then it's just it's a very dungeony dungeon. It's not
like the
interesting.
Most dungeony dungeon to ever dungeon. And honestly, it makes sense why it is the way it is because of the year that it came out, what it's influenced by. Because the later games, we see so much less of this.
Yeah.
Like, if we do have these kind of dungeon portions, they're much shorter.
Yeah, I will say that I don't think we have less of this. They're just more segmented because in the sequel, it's like you go to the same 3 areas to fight through an area to go do a quest, which was part of the downside of the second game. But yeah, like by the third game for sure, it's like everything has purpose, or it's like open world combat that you can avoid or not fight or whatever.
Just follow the fan theory for DA2 that Cassandra just has a really bad imagination.
That's really funny. It's very funny. But yeah, it just feels like we're going through the motions at this point, and
we're just trying to get to the good bits.
Right, and it's a bummer because I think ultimately I do enjoy this game, and I don't hate the combat. I would agree that it's boring, but I like playing the ranger. I like my character, so in that respect, it's still engaging. But yeah, it's definitely not most of the way through Mass Effect, by the end of the first game, we were like, yeah, there was some fighting, but here's the story bit.
Exactly.
I think that's just kind of the pattern for these BioWare games so far. And as we expand, whether it's beyond BioWare or just to other BioWare games, I mean, for sure, other BioWare games, like if we ever do Knights of the Old Republic or something, it's the same thing there too. It's just this was early design in RPGs, especially made here, as opposed to ones made in Japan, the turn-based stuff. it just that was the setup for these kinds of games.
Yeah, for sure.
And like, I mean, even stuff later with Skyrim, we've talked about on the podcast before, even the combat in that game gets pretty repetitive towards the end too. Like, it's just kind of how these action combat games are set up. And some have engaging abilities and stuff and some don't. And so far, both of us are just kind of like, yeah, do the thing.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just like constantly hitting A and I'm like, I don't care about this anymore.
Yeah.
I just want to get through. Yeah, I just got so bored. But then we find the lair of the werewolves. The lair wolves.
Oh my God, please stop.
The where of the lair wolf.
All right. And we are...
Swearwolves.
God damn it. We are encountered by Witherfang, the Lady of the Forest.
Well, we meet the gatekeeper who
oh, that's right. Yeah.
says that they don't want any more of their people hurt. So they finally agree to talk.
Yeah.
And like they're so protective of her, which understandably, she's the first person to ever be like, hey, do you remember when you were human?
Yeah. How about we talk about your humanity?
And we find out that Zathrian created the curse. Humans, like we found out, assaulted and raped Zathrian's children. Like I said, no more stories centering on rape, please and thank you. And we're asked to bring Zathrian back to end the curse.
Yep. And so my first thought is, I gotta go all the way back to town.
Right? Like, that was my thought, too. I was like, oh, at least there's an exit right here. Thank God.
But then as we get to the outside of the internal chamber of the werewolf area, the lair wolf area, Zathrian
and if it weren't, it still would be.
Yeah. And Zathrian is right there, and he's like...
It's just right there.
He's like, you were taking too long. I was worried.
Yeah.
Which is a load of crap.
I'm like, let's do this, buddy.
Yeah, I accuse him of all the things that we were told. He exclaims in anger, like, what would you have done? And all this stuff. And he's like, they don't want to talk. They're just beasts, blah, blah, blah. But he agrees to come with you anyway to end this.
So here's the thing. I completely understand his rage and his whole you're not Dalish approach because you're right, I'm not Dalish. I will never understand what pain and horror your people have gone through. You are absolutely 100% right. But I can say that the people who are currently being affected are not the people that did this horrible thing in the first place.
Right. It's been generations and generations. So, like, these are different people. Also, like, his view of them versus who they are is so distorted.
Right. And he tells us that the Lady of the Forest is the spirit that he bound into the body of the wolf, which I really love the Lady of the Forest / Witherfang. Like, gender fluid icon, first of all.
Sure.
Like, yes, we stan. But she's just so thoughtful and compassionate. And even as Witherfang, he's just protective of his people.
Yeah.
Like, he never attacks us.
Yeah.
He is entirely like, this is my family and I will protect them.
Right.
And the Lady of the Forest is much the same, just from a more feminine standpoint, like from a more maternal standpoint. And I feel like that character is just one of the best characters that they created because she is this like balance between masculine and feminine, feral and elegant. And I love the Lady of the Forest / Witherfang. And I wish, like, if it weren't like morally wrong, I would choose her over Zathrian. And technically you do. The route that I'm assuming we both went because we're not assholes. But there is an outcome where you choose her and you just kill all of the Dalish.
Yeah.
And you keep the werewolves as they are.
Yeah.
Which is a terrible outcome.
Yeah.
But, like, it keeps her alive. But it's not worth it, honestly. Because she's ready to go.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So when you bring Zathrian into the room, they try to talk. Arguing ensues. The werewolves start yelling, especially Swiftrunner. But you keep kind of pushing for conversation and to meet, and eventually a fight starts to boil up, and you have to choose a side to fight with. You can either fight with Zathrian and wipe out the werewolves, or you fight with the Lady of the Forest to take out Zathrian. And if you and I assume we both sided with the werewolves.
Yes, I hate Zathrian. I would opt to kill him if it would fix things. But just no one deserves this suffering that his hate has created.
Right. And when you choose, like, at least for me, when I chose Swift Runner, I got a lot of approval, and Alistair was like, we're going to fight on the side of right. Like, we're going to.
Yes, Alistair was on my side. And I was so, emotional about that because I believe that this is the right thing to do. And everyone else could easily be like, who cares what the outcome is? Let's just do what gets us what we need. But Alistair also believes that this is the right thing to do. We could very well lose the support of Dalish by doing this.
Right.
But it's the right thing to do. And someone that I care for who has supported me is on my side. And it made me really emotional. I was just like, I love you, Alistair.
If Morrigan was with either of us, though, she probably wouldn't have approved.
I don't think she would have cared, honestly.
Yeah, well, I don't know. The more magical related side of it with the werewolves, I think she'd be more interested in than helping the elves at all.
She would be interested in studying them, I think.
Yeah. But anyway, so we fight Zathrian. Before we can kill him, he gives up. He says that he can't defeat us. And then this is where we get the more kind of down-to-earth conversation. He admits his anger and that he cannot do anything about his rage. He cannot stop, but what he can do is break this curse. And this is where we hear from the Lady of the Forest that she is also ready to go. She's lived a long enough life. She wants to free these people. She is ready to move on. And so Zathrian undoes the curse, and in doing so undoes his immortality and dies. The Lady of the Forest dissipates, and the werewolves become human again. Interesting thing to me is that the werewolves that are naked become humans with clothes on.
I know, I thought that too.
I mean,
interesting.
Most video games of the time would not avoid an excuse to have naked people. So, the fact that they weren't, the modesty of it all, but, it was very strange to me. It's very weird. Also, the body, all of the werewolves, had these kind of alpha male kind of body types. None of them looked feminine, which is fine.
I prefer that there's no feminine werewolf shape.
I'm glad that it was uniform, but it just made me. I realized I was like, oh right, some of them were women, some of them were men. The gender is irrelevant anyway, but it was just the whole thing was a little jarring because I was like, oh, this is an old video game. That's right. They were going to render a bunch of naked people.
Yeah. Also, their eyes are yellow.
Yeah, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, I thought that was neat. Yeah, that's the best ending. That is the best ending for this mission.
Yeah.
Is to broker peace between the two of them.
Yeah.
And to, turn the werewolves back to human and for Zathrian to just, let go. And I'm glad that we both achieved that good ending.
Yep. And then so the humans, once they kind of shake it off, thank us.
Fucking happy ending.
Yeah. They shake it off.
Once.
This one time, Rose, everybody lives.
Except for those two people.
Right, except for those two people. But then the humans say that they'll leave and they're going to find new life within human society. They're not going to stay in the forest. They just want to go home. Or find a new home, rather.
Yeah, because they grew up in the forest, so I think that'll be really interesting. And it kind of... Hi, this is Frankie's Werewolf Corner, where Frankie complains about werewolves in Dragon Age. If you do choose the werewolves over the Dalish, the werewolves never show up again.
Yeah, they're just gone.
You have your war, the werewolves are there to support you, and then that's it.
Yep.
No werewolves in DA2. Well, there is one mission that refers to werewolves in DA2, but never mentioned in Inquisition.
Nope. Yeah, no, and the humans who were turned back from werewolves also never come back up. This decision doesn't really matter in the scheme of the connected narrative of these games.
And it really bothers me. Why would you introduce this and just let it fall to the wayside? And I guess narratively, not necessarily narratively, but from a marketing standpoint, it kind of makes sense because, as you said, we walk in and werewolves and it's kind of jarring. So maybe they felt like it just wasn't successful. So they were like, we're just going to drop that narrative line. We're just going to drop that thread and not pick it up again, which I get. Sometimes you have an idea, it doesn't work out, and you don't follow through with it. But you put it out there in the world.
Yeah.
You put it out there. You might as well.
I mean, also, unlike Mass Effect, which I thought handled most of the carryover pretty well, um, ending of the trilogy aside, these games do not, because of first of all, because it's across multiple console generations, because the tool in order to carry the information is a little jankier than it just inherently importing in the Mass Effect franchise. All of these things make what's dropped and what's kept a little wonky. Also, the changing of the main characters, which I don't mind, but does lend to the inconsistency in what the world continues to have within it. But I mean, you can still carry narrative threads from one game to another regardless. Like, werewolves could still exist elsewhere in the other games, even if it weren't these werewolves, and they don't seem to.
It's so weird. Anyway, that was my complaint. Before we can return to the Dalish camp, we have to go back to our camp because the archdemon saw us.
Yeah, so so annoying. So
I know.
you leave the area, and then it's automatically into a cutscene where we see the archdemon, and then we both wake up from a nightmare, and then the camp is attacked by Darkspawn, and we're reminded, oh yeah, when we can see him, he can see us as well. It was cool to have the entire party fighting alongside you. Like,
yeah, that was kind of neat.
Not just the people.
I just wish it didn't happen like when I'm trying to wrap up a quest.
Right. And so then after you kill them all, then you can walk around the camp and treat it as normal. But I didn't. I left right away.
Yeah, I just left. Like, we'll talk later.
And then of course I got into another fight on the way back. Yeah, I got into another combat. It was just a spider hovel, and I had to fight through waves of spiders to get out, and it was pointless and annoying. And I was like, I just want to finish the quest. I have shit to do. Come on.
Did you get the Juggernaut armor?
I did. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, me too. I forgot to put this down in our notes. Did you approach the campsite that make you big sleepy?
Yeah, and then I had to fight my way. And then I had to fight my way out. Yeah.
So I did that, and the first time, everyone but Wynn died, like, immediately. Like, the second the cutscene ended, 3 people passed out, and Wynn was the only one left. And I was like, what? What even happened? So I had to reload, and when I reloaded, everybody stayed awake, I guess. I don't know. It was weird, and I was very frustrated.
Yeah.
Is what I'm going to say about that.
Yeah, sounds like something in Dragon Age Origins. Oh, and my game crashed at least once, so I have yet to have a play session since episode 5, I think, where my game didn't crash. So yeah, got a bunch of nice screenshots though.
I got a couple, I think. Anyway, back in the Dalish camp, Lanaya is now the keeper, and we have Dalish support. Yay!
Yep, Lanaya is sad but understanding, and is happy to partner with us, even though I kept trying to look in the chest behind her, which made her big mad.
I was able to get into the chest.
I wasn't. And I didn't try again after they were our allies, because they seemed to have forgotten my transgressions, and I didn't want to piss her off again.
So I tried it before, and she was like, "No, you can't." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And then Zathrian died, and we got the allyship. So then I tried it again, and I was able to open it, and she didn't yell at me.
Okay, so I'll have to before I move on, go back and
I think it's just a songbook.
Probably.
So I don't think it's anything cool.
We talked about most of the resolution of the side quests. We returned with the Iron Bark. We get items. I got a bow.
I got a breastplate.
You got a breastplate. Athreus. So what did you do with Athreus? So when I encountered his wife in the forest, I tried to talk to her. I tried several times. And I just end up getting her scarf. She says, tell him that I love him, and then you fight her and she dies.
Yeah, it ends with that no matter what.
Yeah.
Because I tried to see if there was a different way for this to end, and there really isn't. Like,
no.
You have to kill her, which is so upsetting.
Yeah. Especially since we know how this is going to turn out.
Yeah. Like, if she could have just held on a little while longer, she could have been back to human, but she couldn't. And, it's sad. It's very sad. I told him that she died.
Yeah, so did I, and gave him the scarf, and he thanked us, and then said he was going to go mourn proper and honor her. So, yeah. Womp
Poor
womp.
guy. Womp
womp. But yeah, so I think that's it. And so that is our time with the Dalish. We have their full support for the Land's Meat. And so now we have to decide what to do next, and we have a fresh run of options to choose from.
Yeah. So we could go to Denerim and start the Landsmeet shit.
Yeah.
But we have some DLC.
Yes, we do.
And we also have some side quests.
Yep.
So here's what I propose. I propose that we do Stone Prisoner because that gets us an additional party member.
Yep.
And we also take care of any side quests that we have outstanding.
Sure.
Like loyalty quests.
Yeah, which I have to do literally all of them because I don't have any of them.
Maybe we'll devote an episode to that. Yeah, so I think we should do Stone Prisoner next.
Okay, works for me. Where do we get Stone Prisoner? I don't remember.
It is on your map.
Okay. Oh, that's right. It's like a location that you go to, and then the mission
it's a location
starts.
that you go to.
Right. Okay, so we'll do Stone Prisoner next. So we get arguably one of the best party members in all of Dragon Age.
Because our other options are Return to Ostagar and Warden's Keep.
Right.
And I think Stone Prisoner is just going to be like the one that makes the most sense because we get an additional party member. And if we want to spend time with that party member, we have some other DLC that we can bring them on.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like I said, this party member who we've I think mentioned before is one of the best characters in the game. So definitely the sassiest character in the game.
All right, so that's decided. So next up, Stone Prisoner. If you like what you heard here, follow us on social media. We're at ReignitePod on Twitter, Tumblr, and Instagram, facebook.com/reignitepod, or please send us an email at reignitepod@gmail.com. You can also find us on Twitter at FrankieBWrites and at Fun and Games Pod.
If you're wondering why I'm promoting the Fun and Games podcast Twitter instead of my own, it's because I have been suspended from Twitter. I had the audacity to speak out against TERFs on the internet and got suspended. I may never get my account back. I've appealed it twice and they said no. So if you need to reach me, I will be on the Fun and Games pod Twitter as my own. But you can also, of course, reach me through the Reignite Twitter. But just wanted to explain why that was. And if you need to reach out to me one-on-one, you can follow me and DM me there. So anyway,
if you want to reach out to me, write down your question on a scrap of paper and then bury it in the ground and I will find it.
It's true. That's how we communicate when we're not recording.
So don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe on your favorite podcatcher if you can. It helps us get seen so other people can find us.
We're members of the Certain Point of View podcast network. You can visit certainpov.com to find more nerdy podcasts, each with a unique point of view. You can also find a permanent invite link to our Discord server on the website and join in the conversation. All of this stuff is also in the show notes, as well as a place to rate and review us. You can find the direct links to all that stuff.
As for personal plugs, just a reminder, I have moved into my very own house and I have no money for the rest of the month. So if you would like to help me contribute to my household, kick me a few bucks on Venmo at FrankieBrad is hella rad, or you can check out my Amazon wishlist at bit.ly/FrankieMoved. I would really like... My brain just flooded with all the things I needed. I would really like a kettle, honestly. I could really use a kettle.
Yeah.
Like, there's a list of like really important things on there, but like I need a kettle.
Get Frankie a kettle.
Please get me a kettle.
You, listener. Yes, you.
It's like $20. Get me a kettle. Unless your name is Case, in which case don't get me shit.
Yeah, Case, you've got a baby to worry about. Stop buying Case stuff.
Yeah. Also, thank you for that time that you sent me money, because I appreciated it.
For me, you know where you can find all my pods at djstormageddon.com. Again, Fun and Games is trying to grow and do some new stuff. Follow our Patreon even for free stuff. I wrote my first article in like a decade over on the Fun and Games Patreon. About
it was really good.
Thank you. About Coffee Talk 1 and 2. Definitely go check that out. I am also trying to stream a little more. There's a VOD on the Fun and Games YouTube of me streaming Street Fighter 6, which was a lot of fun. But otherwise, the best place to find me right now is funandgamespod at twitter.com. Yay. I would tell TERFs to go fuck themselves again every day, so I don't regret it. When I thought it was my Patreon link that got me banned, I was really frustrated and angry because it's the only way I can promote my stuff. But when I found out it was because I was calling TERFs shitheads, I was like, oh, okay. No, fine. I would do that 10 more times, so whatever. Anyway, we'd also like to thank Carter's husband, the aforementioned Case Aiken, for developing even more amazing t-shirt designs that you can find through certainpov.com or on the CPOV Teespring.
We'd like to thank Radic Wade and Echoes of Oblivion for our theme music.
And thank you to Red Spinks for our brand new logo. To see more of his work, you can follow him at Chaos Does Art on Instagram.
That's it for us. I'm Frankie.
And I am Matt, a.k.a. Stormageddon. And remember, Grey Wardens.
In war, victory.
In peace, vigilance.
In death, sacrifice.
Okay, bye.
Hey there, Screen Beans. Have you heard about Screen Snark?
Rachel, this is an ad break. They aren't screen beans until they listen to the show.
Fine. Potential Screen Beans. You like movies and TV shows, right?
I mean, who doesn't? Screen Snark is a casual conversation about the movies and television shows that are shaping us as we live our everyday lives.
That's right, Matt. We have a chat with at least one incredible guest every episode, hailing from all walks. We've interviewed chefs,
writers, costumers, musicians,
yoga teachers, comedians, burlesque dancers,
folks in the film and TV industry,
and more.
We'd be delighted for you to join us every other Monday on the Certain POV Podcast Network.
Or wherever you get your podcasts, fresh and tasty off the presses.
What? That's not...
Can I call them Screen Beans now?
Fine.
Screen Beans!
So tune in and we'll see you at the movies or on a couch somewhere.
'Cause you're all Screen Beans now.
She will be mine. Aurora.
CPOV. CertainPOV.com.